Welcome to the Conscious Kinky Podcast, where we explore sexuality, connection, and power through awareness and intentional choice.
At the Kink Collective, we help people reframe their relationship with sexuality, build deeper connections, and become safe spaces in the world.
Each episode invites reflection, not performance.
And the conversation continues inside Conscious Conversations, our live community space. Welcome to the conversation.
Ask you something uncomfortable. How many times have you said yes while your body was already tired? How many times have you said yes when you felt this was an opportunity you couldn't pass? When you felt excitement in the moment because this is something new? Or the person was just so extremely attractive and the opportunity felt so rare, only to realize that you actually weren't ready?
Consent isn't just yes or no. It isn't a checkbox. It isn't a vibe. Consent is capacity. It's context. Consent is responsibility. This month, we're getting honest about how often we confuse desire with readiness.
I'm certainly guilty of that. Welcome to the Conscious Kinky Podcast. I'm Joshua.
And I'm Kat.
This podcast isn't about teaching you what to think. It's about helping you slow down enough to see yourself clearly.
Today, we're talking about consent beyond yes and no. Not politically, not performatively, but personally.
We've seen this in sessions. We've seen it in mentorship. God knows I've seen it in myself. People saying yes because they don't want to lose the connection. They want to prove that they can handle it. They don't want to look inexperienced, or they don't want to seem dramatic. But at the end of the day, the truth is capacity is real and capacity shifts.
When was a time you said yes, but your body wasn't actually there? I do that way more often than I would like to admit that I do. I feel like I always need to be doing what needs to happen, and that whatever I think needs to happen it doesn't matter if I'm too tired. It doesn't matter if I don't have the energy. It doesn't matter if I have something else to do or anything. If things need to be done, I need to plow forward and move ahead. And, years ago, younger ago, that didn't have the kind of consequences that it has now. Now, as I'm older and I'm slowing down a little bit, it matters. It impacts me more. The fatigue is real.
Yeah, for myself, I was talking about this on Saturday night, I believe it was, where we had the event, and it's like I'm tired and I still have to host and I still have to give demos and I have to because that's the weight of the responsibility I've chosen, I've taken. However, how much of that really has to happen? And, I think about it from time to time. It's like sometimes when we're doing our date nights and I'm exhausted at the beginning. And sometimes I just want to go to sleep.
I'm so glad to hear you say that.
But sure as shit, 8 hours later, we're doing our thing, right? And it was something that was built on momentum and not readiness, right? That we're all here, everything's in place. It's like, fucking, let's just do it.
That's an important distinction, momentum versus readiness.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I think a lot of agreements are made out of momentum instead of readiness. From what I've seen as an event host, as a professional dominant, as someone who helps people find the language to help them move forward in desire, it's like a lot of people would rather jump on an opportunity than they would miss out on an opportunity.
Well, that gets up to FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, right? I'd rather push myself to do something than miss out on the opportunity.
So when I step into momentum versus readiness, let's reflect. When I do that, when you've done that, what were you trying to protect? What were you afraid would happen if you paused or if you missed out on it.
Missing out.
And I think it's the FOMO. I think
That's exactly right. Like,
it's the, oh my God, I won't ever get this opportunity again.
Right. Like this, like as if this is the only opportunity we're ever going to have to play, to shop, to work, to whatever. But in the moment, it feels like that. It feels like this opportunity right here, right now, if I don't grab it, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss out.
Yeah. So that's a real thing. FOMO came up for me a month or two ago.
I remember, and you said you experienced it for the first time almost.
We were talking about it, and it's like, I get it. I get it now. It's taken me all this time to get it, but I get it.
I love when you get something. You're like, oh, sorry, I get it now.
So what the process is, we're going to jump into 4 questions. We're going to answer the questions. You guys are going to walk with us. We'll encourage you to pause the video, give yourself a few minutes, answer the question yourself, and then come on to the next question. And then in the next day or two, jump back on and flesh out the questions even more. Give yourself some time to reflect on it.
Yeah.
So let's jump into set 1. These are uncomfortable on purpose. As anyone who's done conscious conversations with us, every week is like, oh, not again. But then we jump right in and it's like, here we are. And by the end of it, it's uplifting, it's rejuvenating, it's rewarding because we've looked into the shadows of the questions we didn't want to answer. For example, question 1, where do I say yes because I want access, approval, or momentum, not because I'm ready? I'd probably say yes to so much more shit than I really want to do. And it's because of wanting to get it done, not wanting to miss out, wanting to be able to be the person that does it.
That's a big thing, wanting to be the person that does it, right? Wanting to be the person that can do it, right? I say yes to things, and a lot of them are responsibility things that I need to do, whether it's, go shopping, plan for meals, plan for work, plan for whatever, because I want to be that person. I want to be that person who can do all the things. I want to be the person who can take care of everything and have it all at hand. And so I say yes because I want the access, approval, or momentum that comes from that. And whether or not I'm ready just doesn't seem to be as important, or doesn't seem to be as relevant. Like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I'm not ready. I just have to do it anyway because it has to be done.
Yeah.
And I do find myself now, like I just went to Costco a few days ago, but I've been thinking about going for probably a week and a half. But every day I would come upon the thought and I'd be like, do I really have to go today? Is there anything on there I have to have right now? Like, I start having these like second conversations with myself to see if I can get myself off the hook to have to go right this minute, right? Which I didn't used to do so much, but it is an interesting exercise to ask myself, to like check my real motives. Like why do I need to go? Why do I need to go today? Why do I need to do this right now?
Yeah. Yeah. As you guys who have been with us or who continue to come back and check out the podcast, these questions are going to get a little deeper because we want people to start reframing and repacking how they're showing up in spaces, just like I'm trying to do that for myself. So, question 2. Where do I hide behind consent language while ignoring my actual energy? Things like, I'm good, or I'm fine, or we've negotiated in the past. But internally, they're really depleted.
Yeah, I'm glad for you to use this as an example, because when I first hear the question, I'm not really sure what that means. But do I use I'm good and I'm fine all the time, regardless of how I'm feeling? Absolutely. So to the degree that saying I'm good or I'm fine is a type of consent language, it's a type of language. Someone says, how are you doing? And my response is, I'm good. It's like I'm checking off a box to say that I'm all right without really checking in to see if I'm all right. And I was having a thought about this too, that I come from a long line of people that are always not okay. And so there's two sides to that coin, right? There's like, am I not okay internally because it's just a knee-jerk reaction to how I always am? Like, because sometimes people that you run into that you say, how you doing? They're like, fantastic. And that's their response all the time. Right now, nobody can be fantastic all the time, I don't believe. But you can be more fantastic more of the time if that's the headset you put yourself in.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was just thinking about this whole, how do I respond? I'm good, I'm fine, I'm all right. I'm doing okay. I know the phrase that came to mind. I'm doing okay under the circumstances.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been thinking a lot about this question.
Yeah. I think I have a lot more passive consent, meaning I'm always open to giving my energy a bit more freely than I care to. Right? It's like I float between facilitator and provider and leader often enough that it's like I put my energy to the side because I understand that someone else needs something.
Yeah.
But then how does that affect me, right? It's like...
Well, the 15-hour nap that hits you like a Mack truck, that's what happens.
Yeah. But it's true. It's like, what am I doing with my body? What am I doing with my time and my energy? And what prevents me from saying no?
Well, I think it's some of that stuff that we just talked about approval and about acceptance and, wanting to not miss out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a real
And
big
wanting
deal.
to be seen as a person who is a leader, right? I want to be seen as a person who is the go-to person. There is a part of my ego that really buys into having spent a good part of my life being that person who people can see as their go-to person.
My thing is, as you said that, if I say no now, I won't be asked again.
Yeah.
Right? If you invite me now and I say no, I probably wouldn't be invited again. And that's where my mind goes with that.
Yeah.
Something to think about. Question 3. When someone says maybe, how do I interpret it? Curiosity or rejection? And with this question, I want you to consider attachment styles. I want you to consider ego. And how do we personalize hesitation? Myself with maybe, because I'm a big maybe person. I was a big maybe person. I've had to steer away from that because what I notice is it will leave people on a fishhook. Like just waiting. Okay, Master Josh, we're ready to play. And it was like, I would end up having to step in and say yes versus no. And the reason why I did that was I didn't want a person to feel rejected. Right? I guess I didn't want a person to go through what I would go through. That's weaned down over the years. However, maybe when I would give a maybe, because rarely do I ask someone to play.
Right.
But I would be asked to play. So what if I was told maybe when asking someone else?
Yeah, the question is when you hear a maybe, does it sound like curiosity or rejection? I think a lot of it depends on how that maybe is delivered, right? Because there's maybe, but there's the inflection and the way that something like that is delivered. Like sometimes I can read it as somebody's really wanting to say no, but they're just saying maybe. And then I read that more like a rejection. Or somebody says maybe, where it sounds more like a curiosity, in which case it sounds like it's something that they actually would entertain. So I think I have a tendency to read into people's tone of voice and facial expressions.
The tone absolutely matters.
Yeah.
Because maybe versus maybe is hugely
it's a
different.
Big difference,
Hugely
right?
different.
And so a lot of it depends on, and I think sometimes people don't realize that they're telegraphing what they really mean. I do think a lot of people say maybe when they could be saying yes or no or something else, but because they're, for whatever reason, they don't want to, so they hide behind, but their body and their face and their tone of voice give away what they really mean.
Yeah, I think sometimes, like, I would, if I heard a maybe, depending on the tone, I wouldn't ask, like, again.
Yeah.
or I wouldn't even pursue the follow-up.
I wouldn't anymore because of what I know, right?
Yeah.
Because of all of the events that we host and all of the, however many times anyone has heard me give the speech about say no when you mean no, like don't say maybe when you mean no. Like, so unless it's a yes, for me, it's a no. But that's just born out of my experience over time. That's like a standard operating platform for me.
Because what I noticed for myself maybe is a people-pleasing answer when I really mean no, right? So when I ask someone a question, I've noticed this as a process for me, is if I ask you, hey, would you want to go do a scene? And then I'll follow that up with, you can say no, and I won't take it personal, because I want to give the person an out, should they not be able to say it themselves. Mm-hmm. And I do that a lot in things that I feel where a person is giving up a level of vulnerability that that they can consider very personal, maybe. Mm.
I can see this also in areas that are not even as vulnerable, even something as simple as, hey, do you want to go to the movies?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like the hesitation comes from somewhere on the other person's behalf. And if I don't know where it comes from, then I think a lot of how I interpret it boils down to the mood that I'm in. Right? If I'm feeling particularly secure and particularly upbeat and particularly good, and someone gives me that hesitating whatever, maybe I'll just chalk that off to the momentary thing, right? But if I'm feeling a little insecure, or I'm feeling a little uncertain, and I get a maybe like that, then it feels more like rejection when I get it.
Yeah. And that's, in the body, it's funny because I feared rejection for so many years, and yet I've experienced it a lot in these spaces. Hey, would you be open to a scene? Not right now. Cool.
Yeah.
So where's the line for me with rejection? It's like, I wonder where that line was being toed, where if I was told no, that would be instant death for me.
I think that line has moved for you.
Yeah.
It used to be an instant death, and I don't think it is as much anymore.
No. I think it's felt like that longer than it's actually been as well.
Yeah.
Because when I look back at it, I've taken a lot of no's.
Yeah.
Maybe it revolves around self-worth and access, right? When I'm told no to certain things that would keep, I don't know, I'd have to dive into that.
A lot of it, to me, as I'm listening to you talk about it, it boils down to how vulnerable was I when I asked. Mm. If the thing I was asking about was not a particularly vulnerable thing for me and I get a no, it's like, whatever. If it was a particularly vulnerable request on my part, or I'm feeling particularly sensitive about it, then I will take it a little harder if I get a no or one of those hesitating maybes.
Yeah. How I've had to reframe that is, well, that's your loss.
And that's a great way to look at it.
Question 4. You're going to say something, Mama?
I was going to say question 4.
Okay, go ahead.
Where do I mistake desire for capacity? Desire doesn't necessarily equal readiness. It doesn't necessarily mean your nervous system is regulated. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you even have the time. Right? So where do I mistake desire for capacity?
For me, it's urgency. I think knowing that desire isn't readiness, it's not nervous system regulation or desire or time. I think it's exactly what it's the opportunity. It's like, I don't want to miss this opportunity. So desire gets exchanged for opportunity.
Right. And I can do that too. If my desire is great enough, like I don't want to miss the opportunity and that's my desire,
yeah,
I can experience desire as if it's capacity. I can experience my own desire as if it's me saying I have the energy to do it. Mm-hmm. Right? If I don't look past that, if I don't take a deeper look at how I'm really feeling, if I don't ask myself particularly those questions like to my body about, do I have the energy? Do I have the capacity? My desire, for years, I've just run with that. Like the desire is the same as readiness or capacity, and it's not.
Another word for this phenomenon would be frenzy. Not having the capacity, but the desire is rampant, right? So you're going from scene to scene to scene to scene over and over, week after week. And it's like you deplete. I've witnessed people depleting themselves.
Right.
Because they mistake desire for capacity.
Right. Because their desire is so great.
And
that's why we call it frenzy.
Yeah, they got here, oh my God, I got to taste all the chocolate in the chocolate store.
Right,
oh my God.
Exactly. But I want to do all the things with all the people all the time.
And listen, I get it. On the other side of that, though, is depletion and crash and burnout and regrets, among other things.
And then there's you're much more likely to override your own boundaries. You're more likely to say yes to other things that you would maybe otherwise say no to. And then regret can come into play for sure.
Yeah, that's what I've witnessed as an event host for doing this for over a decade.
Yeah,
it's like it's the last piece of the pie, right?
Right. It's the last hour of the party. It's the whatever. It's the it's the last party till next week.
Yeah.
So we got to get it all in.
Got to get it all in before next 5 days comes.
Yeah. So if these questions are landing heavy, good. Consent maturity requires emotional regulation.
The goal isn't to become cautious. It's to become precise.
I like that.
So we're going to step into the second round of questions. Again, pause the video, give yourself about 3 minutes for each question, then move on to the next. In a couple days, come back and dive into the questions again to flesh out what your answers are. You'd be surprised how much more information you could pull out of it.
Yeah. So the next question, what ego need gets activated when someone changes their mind? This could look like pride, control, feeling unwanted, or that feeling that you'd already invested some time and energy into something when someone changes their mind. And so how is your ego interrupted?
Listen, if you don't like these questions, man, I like getting into the nitty gritty of this because it's like, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. And it's not all shit river either, right? It's like there's an in-between, but being mindful of where I step and what I do is the key to all this, right? So what ego need gets activated when someone changes their mind? So I think certainly in the past, it was about pride. Right? It's like, I'm Master Joshua, what do you mean no? It didn't generally fall together that way. But this was happening in my mind. It's like, well, am I not worthy? Did the person hear something about me that made them change their mind about who I am? Right? That's how I'm affected with this.
Yeah. I think for me, the thing that sticks out most in this is the I've already invested piece. Right? If I've already put some time and energy and effort into something and then someone just changes their mind or wants to walk away, I'm like, hey, what about me? Don't the time and energy I put into this have value? I feel like it's a type of feeling like I'm being rejected, like I'm being discarded, or like I'm being treated as unimportant.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Some people that I've seen in community, things that I've witnessed is a lot of it is a big ego check, a big control issue. And that's something to be mindful of, right? If everyone always has the right to change their mind.
Right.
That's the whole thing of consent. Be mindful of someone who responds negatively when consent is changed, right? Because let's say if it's something small here, hey, do you want to get coffee? Yeah. And then you say no, and then I explode. It's like, imagine that was just over coffee.
Right.
What if we're inside in a scene and we're in it and then I change my mind? How is this person going to respond then? Right? If they blew up over getting coffee, me canceling a coffee date, imagine what would happen if we were mid-scene and something changed. Right? Those are like telltale signs. I think that's why when we teach our intensives, when we teach our programming, the idea is to meet a person, see where that chemistry lies, because chemistry is important, I think, in the beginning. While it doesn't replace, what's the other word?
Connection?
Connection. Chemistry, I think for me, is a dictator initially, right? So it's like chemistry, it doesn't even have to be in the flirting sense. But what if we wear the same fucking clothes? What if we're on our way to go see Taylor Swift, right? There's a chemistry of mutual interest,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, I always use Taylor. I've never met Taylor Swift. I think I've only heard 2 of her. Taylor Swift, if you hear this, I'd like to meet you. Because I use your name a lot in our programming for years now. But it's like we go out and then I'll invest time to see who you are. And like these are the things, I'm not technically testing a person, but I want to invest time into the person to see what happens when the mask comes off.
Right.
Because that matters to me. I want to make sure that the person I'm going out to dinner with isn't an asshole or dangerous.
And changing one's mind is a good barometer.
When you have to change your mind,
Right.
how the person
How the
responds.
person's going to respond. Not that you should change your mind all the time, or anything like
just to
that,
fucking
or
do
just
it.
to do it. But it is one of those things. Like when we talk about going out with someone and then watching how they treat the staff. Right. I'm not intentionally taking you out to a restaurant so I can like secretly gauge how you're going to treat the staff, but I am watching.
It just gave me an idea. When a person asks me, maybe if I said maybe and then I came back with a no, would that mean they wouldn't ask me again? Because mathematically, that's what I was feeling, right? It's like, if you told me maybe and then you told me no, I probably wouldn't ask again.
Well, that would be the appropriate thing to do,
Yeah.
is to not ask again after a no.
You'd be surprised out there, man, right? If that's happened to you, jump into Conscious Conversations and share with us these
Yes.
experiences.
Come on Tuesday and talk with us about it.
I'd love to hear it. It's
Yeah.
$10 a day, a session, $30 for the month. Jump on. This shit is life-changing stuff. It will change the way you engage in relationships. Guaranteed. Number 6.
Where do I rush agreements to avoid awkwardness? How silence makes people speed up, right? What would it be like if we normalized our discomfort?
Where do I rush agreements to avoid awkwardness? One of my hardest things is to take a pause. To take a pause and actually think about it. It's like the person needs a yes right now. It's like, says who is something I have to practice. Right? It's like,
That's a good one.
you're in a rush, cool. I need time to think about it. But it's really hard for me to do that for some reason. Like a person needs an answer right now.
Yeah. I think I rush agreements to avoid awkwardness when, if I bring something up, if I initiate something and then I get that sort of hesitating, maybe-ish, they look like I get anything other than a clean yes. It feels like, oh my gosh, we're going into awkwardness land. What can I do to either real quick take it back, act like I didn't mean to make the offer that I meant, or jump to making the excuse of, oh, that's okay, don't worry about it. We didn't need to do that anyway. Like to try to get them off the hook right away so that it's not awkward. Like rather than just maybe being quiet and letting them sit with whatever that awkward maybe is to come to their own conclusion. But that means I have to be comfortable with the quiet and that discomfort. I have to, the silence does make me and other people speed up.
You're so cute, Mama.
Aw.
I wonder where I can practice this, where I would practice this about rushing agreements and where my I'd have to think about that because I'm getting ideas, right? But for example, so it's like if All Kings reached out and said, Josh, would you like to do this? I feel like if I don't give my answer now, I would lose the opportunity.
Right.
So I don't know if that's. Here's another situation. Someone comes up to me and says, Joshua, would you do this to me? And instead of me taking the time to see if I want to, I would just say yes. And I would rush the agreement to avoid that because it'd be uncomfortable.
You mean if you took the time and then you found out that you didn't want to do it? And you'd have to come back and say, no, thank you?
Yeah.
Like that's awkward. So rather than do that, you just say yes and go right to it.
Yes.
Well,
And imagine, I've been doing this shit for years, man. It's like, how about you guys? Where do you rush agreements to avoid that awkwardness, that awkward silence? Because if I hear silence for too long, that means the person doesn't want me, right? So I got to say yes, or I don't want the person. I don't, So
Right.
I rush.
You don't
to
want to
say
come to
yes.
find out
that
you're being rejected.
right? Yeah.
Or that you'd be rejected for saying no, right? How many of us suffer that feeling of like, oh, I'm being penalized for speaking my truth?
Yeah.
If my truth is, hey, I do want to do that, but I'm too tired to do it right now. Could we do it another time? And the fear is the response to that sort of the response I would get for saying that would be, oh, well, no, never mind. Or I would be put aside. I don't want that. So I won't take the risk of saying, hey, I'd like to do that, but I'm too tired. Can we do that another time? For fear of being rejected.
Yeah, these are good questions, man. Number 7, if I treated consent as leadership, what would I slow down? I didn't think about that. Consent as maturity. Because leadership includes checking in, naming capacity, leaving space, and allowing withdrawal. I would slow fucking everything down. I would step into calculated choices, which...
Yeah. But doing that gives the opportunity for the consent to be more than just superficial or more than just surface, right? Because if the fear of rejection or the fear of not being asked again or whatever leads us to say yes as a knee-jerk reaction, what kind of consent is that really? How fully informed, how deep a consent is that?
That's almost like subconscious coercion. Right? I'm coercing myself.
And I do that a lot. It's like there's literally, like you can see it, there's a little tiny gun that I take and I put up to my head to do stuff when I either don't want to or I don't have the energy to, or I'd rather say, hey, not right now, can we do that another time? But I'm afraid to say that. So there's this little tiny gun that goes up to my head that I'm like, okay, I'll just say yes and I'll just do it now.
Oh, mama.
I've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah. But I want you to stop doing that with me.
Okay.
I want you to start telling me no more.
Okay.
Anyway, next question.
Last question. What agreement in my life needs renegotiation this week?
Think about your relationships, your dynamics at work or with family. And be honest. What needs revisiting? I think this rushing to consent thing is a new spotlight for me.
Yeah.
And the leadership and maturity aspect that I just pointed out of, dude, slow down. You are the driver of your life and they're the driver of theirs. If they're not, that's on them. But you're the driver of your life and say what you mean and mean what you say. So I think it comes back to that for me is, in my life, I need to say what I mean and mean what I say. And when I'm unsure, I need to slow the fuck down.
Pause.
Pause.
That one word tool, pause.
How about you?
Yeah. Say it again. What was the question again?
The question is, what agreement in my life needs renegotiation this week?
This week. It sounds so alarming. What do I have to renegotiate this week?
I think what you just said about saying no more often or checking in with yourself.
Yeah, I do think the checking in with myself. I do think the being able to say no or to double check, like, does this need to happen right now for the whatever needs to happen? Can I delegate? That's something that I've worked on, right? Like I need to work on that more. If it's something that I think I need to do, but really is it something that someone else can do? Maybe I can delegate more.
There you go, Mom. Thank you. So let's review the questions from month 5, week 1, consent beyond yes and no. Question 1, where do I say yes because I want access, approval, or momentum? 2, where do I hide behind consent language while ignoring energy? Question 3, when someone says maybe, how do I interpret it?
Question 4, where do I mistake desire for capacity.
That was a good one. That was a good one. And then the second set is what ego need activate? What ego need activates when someone changes their mind?
Where do I rush agreements to avoid awkwardness?
If consent is leadership, what do I slow down?
And then what agreement needs renegotiation?
So take a moment here, and I just want to reiterate, with the answering of these questions, take 3 minutes for each question, answer it, pause, then come back in a few days, and then flesh them out further.
So this week, inside Conscious Conversations, we'll be unpacking these
In groups.
Right? We
There's no rescuing, there's no fixing, there's just truth.
Thank you.
Each round consists of 4 questions, 25 minutes each, and then you'll come out of the break rooms, and then we'll swap you out for different roommates, breakout roommates, and then we'll put you back in.
For the last 4 questions in another 25-minute breakout room. Yeah.
Consent isn't about protecting others from discomfort. It's about protecting integrity. And if you can't pause, you're not consenting. You're reacting. Woo!
I think that's our biggest takeaway from this episode, right? So here's the lesson on the way out. Consent without capacity becomes resentment. Desire without context becomes damage. Power without pause becomes harm, right? If you want to be taken seriously in intimacy, slow down.
This week, I want you guys to practice one thing. Before you say yes, I want you to ask your body, not your ego. I want you to ask your body, not your fantasy, your body, not your fear, your body. I'm going to keep coming back to that. Because if it tightens, I want you to pause. If it expands, that's like the green light to proceed. We'll see you Tuesday inside Conscious Conversations. And remember, intensity's easy. Integrity takes skill.
See you on Friday.
Oh shit, we'll see you on Tuesday.
We'll see you on Tuesday. And then we'll see you next Friday.
Then we'll see you next
Friday.
Bye-bye. Good job, Ella.
Thanks.